Good morning, adventurers. My name is Ben, and welcome to a morning show where I sit around, drink some tea, and talk about TTRPGs. First up for TTRPG today, I've got, once again, the Help It's Again map, not matte black, all black, there we go, mug. Again, great little mug, love it a lot. And inside of it, still the warm bread pudding black tea from the Spice and Tea Exchange. Check them out, very, very good. Again, remarkable how close to bread pudding it actually tastes. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We are here to dive back into Downfall. And I'm realizing that I actually meant to say, before we dive into Downfall, let me cover real quick why I was gone for a few weeks, because I forgot to do that at the end of last episode. Life got really busy really fast. I was suddenly working several conferences, traveling a lot, like doing all kinds of crazy things that left me no time to actually like sit down and make episodes, because I didn't have time to sit down, review books, stuff like that. So I'm really sorry that I was gone, but I'm back. Hopefully we'll be able to, get through the rest of the season without too much of a hiccup here. But let's see what we actually get into. So anyway, diving back into Downfall. Today we are talking about what are the what are the major concepts / themes, major game mechanic, that kind of thing for this game. I picked 3 of them, that's why I said 3. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to go over those 3 things. Again, this will probably be pretty quick because this book is only 50 pages long of actual rules. So let's go ahead and let's crack this bad boy open and talk about what I believe are the 3 biggest concepts, themes, game mechanics that you need to know about in order to actually be able to play this. Each one of these things is like 2 pages long. So just hang with me on this one because, like I said, it is pretty quick. First and foremost, we're going to talk about the flaw in this game. You might be saying, well, why would you be talking about the flaws with the game? The flaw in the game is the driving mechanic behind the game, which is why I have picked it to go in this section, kind of the first bit. The flaw in the game is actually what you build your society around a little bit here. So the point of this game, obviously, is to create some kind of civilization and then have it fall apart in front of you. The driving force behind it falling apart is the flaw of the game, which is why it is the first thing that you as a table decide on. You will go ahead and you will sit down, you will decide, literally the first thing in this book, define the flaw. It has a list of example flaws, things like ambition, classism, cowardice, distrust, greed, jealousy, loyalty, materialism, etc. You go ahead and you pick one of them, you write it directly onto one of the note cards that you have. You don't have to use note cards. I feel like it's important to note. You can use scraps of paper, stuff like that. They just have note cards as the suggested medium here because it gives you an adequate amount of space to do what you need to do. That is what it is. It will become the driving factor in the actual downfall of your civilization as you progress through the game, which is a really cool concept. It is the first thing that you do before you even begin to construct the society that lives around it. So your flaw is going to be the core piece of your entire game experience in this game. Very, very interesting way to set it up, and it actually connects very well to the next thing I have. I have skipped over the part where you create your civilization because we'll talk about that when you run the game. But the next thing we're talking about is the characters of this game. You might be saying, we're just trying to destroy the city. Should be pretty easy, right? We make characters that blow things up. Not quite. There are 3 different characters that you're going to make, one for each one of the players. However, they're not exactly for the players every single time. You will rotate characters as you play through the game here. This game is supposed to take about 2 to 4 hours, and so you will go ahead and you will play each of the characters a couple of different times across a couple of different scenes as you go through. More on scenes in a little bit. The 3 characters that you need to create are the hero, the fallen, and the pillar. You might be saying, what do those 3 things mean? Well, the hero, shockingly, is the hero. They are the ones that are going to be actively working against the flaw, whether they know it or not. Because the flaw is so baked into the culture of everything, the hero isn't necessarily always going to be super aware of the fact that they are going to be actively trying to, usurp this flaw. To no avail, might I add. They might have small victories, but they will lose in the end, as there is the downfall of everything. Again, the finish line for you is established in this game. It is not like Ark, where you are trying to beat the Doomsday. Doomsday is coming, period. That is the end of your civilization. that is the plan. You're trying to get there, actually. That is the goal of this game. So your hero is going to be one individual who is going to always be that individual. The story is going to be told from that hero's perspective, and they're going to be the ones that are actively trying to stop the flaw, whether they know it or not, every single time, based on whatever it is that they are trying to do. Next up is the Fallen. The Fallen is the person who is actively trying to advance the flaw, the person who is directly opposing the hero. Again, whether they know it or not, they are not necessarily going to be, I am an evil mastermind who is, here to attempt to make this hero's life more difficult. The Fallen and the Pillar, actually, both, are not single individuals. In your scenes, you do not have three people who just happen to appear in every single scene. You have the hero, who is, again, one individual, and you have the Fallen and the Pillar. The Fallen and the Pillar have the sheets in front of them for what they need to be doing, and the players play whatever character they happen to be inhabiting accordingly. They don't have to be the same character that they were before. If there was a character in a scene before, they don't have to go to the same player. Example, if a player is playing the Fallen in one scene and is actively working against the hero, and then in the next scene that character reappears, but they are being played now by the Pillar, totally fine. People have shifting motivations. People, react differently in different situations. That's kind of the point. The point is the Fallen is always going to be a character in game, any character in game that is actively working against the hero. Third, we have the Pillar. The Pillar is the person who wants to resist change the most. Both the hero and the Fallen are trying to enforce some sort of change. The Pillar is also going to be passively more working against the hero in that they do not want things to change. They are the pillar of society. They want things to remain the way that they are. They want the status quo to remain the same. And so they will not help the hero advance necessarily, but they will not necessarily act hostilely towards the hero either. All of these things are important because it will all eventually lead to the downfall. There we go. So to recap the characters real quick, because this is probably the most convoluted part of the game. You have the hero, who is an individual with a developed personality all their own. You have the Fallen and the Pillar, who are personalities and more motivations than anything else that happen to inhabit different personalities at different times based on the scene that the hero finds themselves in. That is it. That is everything that has to do with the characters. The only other little thing that we'll probably touch more on during the game with characters is consequences that the Fallen gets to throw in. But we'll get to that when we get to actually running the game. Each of these characters has a character sheet in the back. The character sheet in the back is pretty minimal. It has 4 different sections, basically. It's got occupation, rebellion, and identity for the hero. The Fallen is relationship to the hero, occupation, identity, and the Pillar is relationship to the hero, occupation, and identity. So I was wrong. It has 3. I can count, I promise. So those are the characters that you're going to be playing in this game. Finally, last up, you've heard me say it several times now, we have scenes. The way that this game actually constructs itself is on a series of scenes, a series of little vignettes that give you brief glimpses into the life of the hero specifically, and the interaction that that hero has with other people, played by the Fallen and the Pillar. So the hero actually has a name in this game, more than likely, and the other people will inhabit different names. But the scenes that you are playing are supposed to be relatively short, and they are supposed to contain each individual scene is supposed to follow a single cohesive thread through to the end. You're not supposed to necessarily go try finding branching paths and all of that sort of thing. Scenes are not supposed to be drawn out things. You're not supposed to be transitioning between a lot of things. If you're at a dinner party, you're going to play through at least part of the dinner party where the hero is trying to do something until they are thwarted or succeed in whatever way they are trying to succeed in. Little vignettes all the way through. At the end of every one of the scenes, you get to the reflection. At the reflection, you are talking about whether or not you want to go ahead and just end the world if you feel like you are ready to get there, and if you are, then you play one more scene that plays out the ending of the world from the hero's perspective. So that is scenes in this game. That is the driving force behind this game. Again, no dice, no nothing like that. People narrate what is going on. They role play characters, and you are good to go. This is a really simple game that is really, really interesting to play, I think. So I'm really excited to get to try it at some point here. But those are my 3 major game concepts, game mechanics, themes, whatever you want to call it, for this game. Again, really, really interesting. Very different than any other TTRPG that I have ever really laid hands on. So I'm very excited to get to try this at some point here. I know I just said that, but that's everything I have for you guys today. So thank you so very much for making me part of your morning routine. I really do appreciate it. And thank you so much in particular to my subscribers. You guys are the ones that make this show possible. If you're interested in supporting the show, best way to do that is by subscribing either on YouTube or your favorite podcasting platform. But that is everything I have for you. So with all that said, don't forget, everybody, drink tea, play TTRPGs, and keep on rolling.